Carrot Top can get it. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Eee.
Seen Carrot Top lately? He's ripped.
I have seen him lately, and
Yeah, when you went to Vegas.
yep, I
You
did.
guys went to like 5 of his shows for some reason.
Yep, we did.
This is episode 382 of I Hope You Suffer. I'm preacher.
I'm horse-drawn carriage.
This week we're gonna talk about 2024's Stalked by My Amish Boyfriend. A
Hell
banger.
yeah.
We had like a scheduling conflict with like kids' schedules. So Katie and I were like, well, let's record something. And I was like, we should do something like not specifically true crime-ish, but one of those kind of like stupid Hallmark Lifetime, sort of true crime style movies. And this was one of the first things that popped up on Tubi, and I was like, yep, done. real bad. But I loved it. 5 stars.
I think I feel like this should be called Kidnapped by My Amish Boyfriend because the stalking is like maybe 5 minutes of the movie.
I was legitimately kind of shocked how quickly it got to like him kidnapping her and taking her back to
Yeah,
Amish land.
it's like half an hour into this an hour and a half movie. I was like, oh, okay.
It moves along. It's got it doesn't waste any time.
You know what? It doesn't. It starts out insane. Like, so you know what? I can't say that I had a bad time watching it. I don't know
No,
that I would necessarily recommend it, but
it's not good. But also, I was kind of like, you know what? There's a lot of weird shit happening in this, so I'm here for it. It held my attention, and now I gotta watch the other 8 million Stalked by My Blank movies on fucking Tubi.
yeah.
Because let's see, there's clearly, the 5 Stalked by My Doctor Eric Roberts
I'm
movies.
yeah, I'm interested in Stalked by My Doctor.
I've seen the first one. They are all bonkers, and it's a thing where like I feel like at some point that we could figure out like 5 in a row, we should do them because they're wild.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was some really absurd one. Stalked by a reality star.
Oh,
The paramedic who stalked me. Young,
okay.
stalked, and pregnant. Stalked
Oh.
by a prince.
Oh, all right.
Let's see what stalked by a prince is. Publicist Alyssa Banks thinks she's woken up in a fairy tale when she meets Jack, a British prince. At first, everything seems to be going great. Jack wines and dines her, taking her to extravagant meals, on romantic helicopter rides over Los Angeles, and whisking her away to Europe on a private jet. But Alyssa's dream quickly turns into a nightmare when the volatile prince refuses to let Alyssa leave his family's luxurious estate in the. So this is just another kidnapping movie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm assuming that's what they all are, but like, I don't know. These could have been more stalking in this.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Like I think especially for people that are already in the bag for the kind of like over the top Lifetime movies, like this is completely watchable.
Oh, yeah. I would
Uh,
I would say that like most of the people are totally fine in it, like as far as the acting goes. It's not like cheesy to me in any way. I do feel like some of the things that they had the story involve did not pan out for any didn't like wasn't necessary to be part of the situation. But like overall, totally fine. I mean, this isn't like Lifetime from the late 90s, early 2000s anymore.
Yeah.
But I thought it was totally fine.
I have a lot of questions because the director has only directed one other movie, and it's My Amish Double Life,
Oh.
about a Amish girl and her best friend that sneak out and go partying and flirting with boys and shit like that in the English world, and then accidentally witness a murder, and it causes havoc in their lives.
That sounds sick. Yeah,
It's
I
on
mean,
Hoopla.
okay. I have to admit, like, I don't really know that much about Amish life,
Well, I do
and
because I've watched one episode of Suddenly Amish.
I know I meant to watch that. I just like didn't get to it.
There's a
Um,
second. It is unhinged. There's like the second episode is out. And I think we're gonna watch it when either sometime today we're gonna watch it because like the first episode was real stupid. It rocks.
yeah.
Like there's like the six people that are just like, I don't know, life's crazy. I think I want to be Amish, and it's like one of them is just like this dude in the middle of like Missouri who's just like, man, it's just crazy here. It's wild. There's just like gang stalking and shit all the time, and I'm like, come on, man, you're in Missouri.
Uh, excuse me?
Um, like he shows up in like Hot Topic like goth boots, and I'm like, you
Amazing.
are not ready for this. I also feel like you might be the first black person most of these people have ever seen, so that's probably gonna go well. There's like some woman from Los Angeles who like, I don't know, her backstory was just like, I don't know, I started doing OnlyFans and God hates me now, so I think I should be Amish. And so she shows up in like a tiny skirt and they have to be like, what are you doing?
You
Like, why
can't
did you
be
come
wearing
dressed like
that.
this? There's some dude who's got like hearing aids that are attached to his cell phone, and he did not understand why they were like, you can't have this here. And I'm
Oh,
like, you none of these people even like showed up at all. That's why again, I know this is all probably like producer like
right.
instigated stuff, but I was just like, none of you showed up for this except for the one person who is obsessed with Amish people who lives in an apartment that she refuses to turn any of the electricity on and works at like a fucking coffee shop for some reason, but it, like is dressed up in like Amish garb the whole time and shows up and immediately is like, I have to poop. And when I have to poop immediately. So they show her to the outhouse and they just
Uh,
hand her newspapers that they collect for free from the town. And it's just like, this is what we use for toilet paper. And she's like, I think I got a splinter. And they're like, oh well.
ew. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It
So
rocks. Perfect
I
TV.
remember I didn't realize that. Like I had seen commercials for a while, and like obviously, like I said, I'm not really much of like a reality TV type person unless it's like cooking or something
Yeah,
like that.
sure.
But then I saw the commercial for it like forever ago, so I didn't realize that it like just came out. I thought it had been out for forever. And I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's what
know,
I
this
thought.
yeah, this seems like interesting to me, and I don't know why I was like under the impression that this was like an entire family going to do this. I didn't realize it was like random people thrown together to do it.
Yeah, it's literally like six people who, for whatever fucking reason, have decided they want to give being Amish a try. And it's like, there's like an entire like prologue from the Amish, the guy who like runs the community they're in, and like, and this other guy who has been somewhat shunned from the community because he refuses to not have a cell phone, which I also did not understand. But like, like I said, but so his way of getting back into the community was like bringing these people in because like they talk about like the problem is the they build this community, everyone has a bunch of kids, but then they're all related and no one can really like their kids can't breed with other family members kids, so they're
Mhm.
like you run the risk of like either your entire community being inbred, which is like fucks up everything, or like
Why?
just it yeah, or just like the entire community dies off because like you aren't breeding more people for it.
Mhm.
And so they were like we had this opportunity to try to bring in more people that aren't relatives essentially. And I was like, I'm like that part I thought was like kind of interesting, and then they started introducing the people that were coming in, and I was like, all right, this show's gonna be unhinged.
Yeah.
Like this one girl, like almost leaves as soon as she gets there because they're like, you can't have your fake nails and fake eyelashes here, and she was like, why not? she
Uh,
was, they were like, you either have to take them off or like you have to leave, and she was like, well then I'm leaving, and then it like that was like the end of the episode, but like they show the previews and she's all still there.
right.
So I was like, it's unhinged. So it's been a weird week of Amish,
Of Amish stuff.
a lot of Amish shit for me.
Nathan is like so into Amish lore now.
Look, if I didn't have to do any actual work, I'm in.
Yeah.
I could,
Um,
I could, my brain could use a little while of not having internet.
well, I'm under the impression that like pretty much all they do is work, no?
I mean,
Not, like manual labor.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're having to do a lot of shit that like, essentially you're doing like farm work
Yeah.
because that's the only way you're going to keep up with like food and whatnot.
I think the only thing that
Any
would get
Amish
like
people listening to this, let us know.
I think I think the only thing that would get to me is first of all, bathroom situation. I feel like I can deal with, like, not having electricity for, like, other stuff, but, like, not having just, like, a regular indoor bathroom, I think would break it for me, but then also, not that I necessarily mind having, like, candles, but I think, like, not having light at nighttime, like, electricity, would bother me because I, like, do a lot of stuff that I need light to
Well,
like, crafts and things like that,
to
but
be
other than
fair,
that
if you're living like that, you're probably going to bed as it gets dark because you're having to get up at like the crack of dawn to do
well,
like
yeah,
work. So,
I just meant, like, as far as, like, an experimental
yeah.
going,
I
but,
mean, I remember there being some like reality shows in like the late 90s, early 2000s that were like not specifically Amish, but it was like taking these people who were like addicted to technology and making them live like it's like the 1800s. And like an entire they can't like leave the house, and the house is just set up where it's like a fucking wood fire stove and
right,
like just candles and shit like that. And they like if you stayed for I don't know a month or whatever it was, you would win money, and like most of them just fucking like lose their minds and
yeah,
turns into The Shining.
right, sure.
Yeah, we could get into
Alright.
getting stalked by our Amish boyfriend.
Um, that could be a sequel, Stalked by Our Amish Boyfriend,
They
where
should.
it's like a
Well, I
throuple.
mean, he's still alive. They could do a sequel.
They could. Okay, so alarmingly starts with the words "inspired by true events."
I think all of
Oh
these
my
movies
god.
probably say that.
Right. Stalking is true. So, I wonder if somebody was stalked by an Amish boyfriend though. He is okay, let's just get into it. So immediately we see me, the horse-drawn carriage. There is a Amish woman there is a Amish woman doing some chores in a barn, and she's spooked because she feels like she's being watched. And then all of a sudden, her boyfriend Isaiah pops up, and she's like, "Oh goodness, Isaiah!" And they kiss, and she's like, "Oh, we can't do this now. Like, meet me down by the lake tonight." And he's like, "Hee hee, okay." And then he runs away. Then in the background, there is a figure approaching, and they do this thing where it's kind of like the light is coming from behind it, so he looks all distorted and he kind of looks like an alien guy, and he's like walking up towards her, and she's like, "Oh, hey, oh, didn't see you there. I'm kind of busy though, so like let's talk later." This man, they don't show the top half of him at all. They just show like from the shoulders down, and he's holding a sickle, I think is
Yeah,
what this is.
yeah, because I think of the full one is a scythe, like
Yeah.
the tall one or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's like holding it and he's like walking towards her menacingly, and she's like, "Oh, we'll talk later, tee hee." But she's like scared of him, so she backs up and falls out of the barn and then hits her head on a rock.
I
And
like as this was starting, this scene was happening. I was like, "Oh my god, please tell me this is gonna be like an actual like slasher sort of thing." But unfortunately, not.
yeah. I also feel okay, so this is like so she falls and hits her head. There's blood everywhere. She's just like laying there, like she literally looks like the outline of like a dead body. And I was like, okay, this is like starting off at a 10. This is kind of like the most like I don't want to say the most insane it gets because obviously we've already talked about there being a kidnapping, but this is like really aggressive. I feel for what actually ends up happening in the rest of the movie. So then there's the title, which is Stalked by My Amish Boyfriend.
Real quick,
So
I had like looked up I just the movie title and then true story.
mhm,
And like there's so many blogs that are like, is it based on a true story? Not really. But if it was, it could have been based on this. And it's just like a guy stalking and kidnapping his quote unquote girlfriend. I'm like, all right,
right.
come on.
Yeah, because I will also say that like he is not her boyfriend, by the way. So
It's like all of these are like, if you take the Amish aspect out of it, it could be
no,
based on this. And it's like, no, that's not how this works.
yeah,
Oh,
um,
Paranormal Activity franchise for some reason came up as one of the Google results.
yeah, I could see that.
The ghosts are Amish.
Haunted by my Amish boyfriend's ghost.
Well, this movie, like the alternate title is something haunting
Oh,
or like
what?
haunted something. Let me see. Oh no, the one on Letterbox just says Forever Mine. Something on Google. I can't find it now. There was something like haunted something, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. What if they like made the movie and they were like, "Oh, we forgot to include ghosts," and they were like, "Oh,
Oh
just
well.
change the title to
This
Stalked
redhead
by."
guy kind of looks like a ghost.
Yeah, he does. Um, okay, so there's two girls who are our main character, Carly, and her best friend Jenna. They are chatting about zaddies. I was like, okay. It's 20 this movie came out in 2024 though, so I was like, I don't know. They basically are just like chatting and Carly isn't going on this trip with her friend Jenna, and normally she would, and her dad is just like, why aren't you gonna go? Is it because you're worried about your arrhythmia?" So Carly has this like heart condition that like I was like, "Okay, that's gonna be something later." And like kind of not really.
It is only like literally it gets brought up like, when she gets kidnapped or whatever. But like the only reason it's important is that like Jenna finds her pills and it's just like, "Oh no."
Right. But I thought it was gonna be like
Yeah,
more
like she would have like a like I when she first like well obviously we'll get to it later, but she takes the foxglove or whatever and gets like starts like throwing up. I really thought like the way she was going to escape was he was going to have to take her to like
right. That's
town or so or like that
yeah.
Mona girl or whoever was gonna like take her somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, this redhead
Um,
dude is in Fallout. The Abram dude.
really? Who is
He
he?
plays red haired man in 2 episodes of Fallout.
Oh, yeah, I knew I recognized him. I bet he's one of the, like, vault people. Um, okay, so and the dad
his,
is like
his voice is upsetting.
it is freaky because it's, like,
I
very deep.
I say this as somebody with a deep voice. But
Yeah.
like he doesn't look like he should have that voice.
Right. So I will say, like, okay, well, we're about to get into their meet
All right.
cute, so to speak. So then we'll talk about him a little bit more. Dad is like, "Oh, is it because of your arrhythmia?" And Carly's just like, "No, idiot, drop it."
Oh,
Just
dumb
kidding.
shit. I'm trying to fuck this Amish dude all
No, you
week.
piece of shit. Shut the fuck up, Dad.
Yeah, this is why
Um,
mom's dead.
no, Carly is like very much your like quintessential puts everyone before herself and she's like bubbly and laughing and smiling except for like for one instance where she's like very mean to Jenna for no reason. She's just like your normal protagonist, I feel like. And Jenna is like the real character who is like sus immediately and is just like looking up for her best friend. So that's the kind of relationship that they have. They've been best friends their whole life or whatever. This intro I think is just to kind of set up about the heart condition and her relationship with her dad and her relationship with Jenna. Okay. So the next day she goes to get coffee and she orders a latte and she's talking on the phone with her dad. And when she turns around, she bumps into a dude and spills coffee on his shoes. And so that dude ends up being Abram, who is obviously Amish by looking at him. He is very tall. I was not expecting him to be ginger also. And like the thing about his voice being so deep is that like I said, he's really tall, but like his face looks kind of like I don't want to say like baby face-ish, but like I definitely do feel like his voice is like deeper than you would expect coming from him.
Yeah, I think the problem is like he they like there's a very specific thing in the story where he explains why he's 23 or like they never state his age, right? But he's on like Rumspringa. But like
Yeah.
they like and like why he's doing it later in life than you're supposed to, which is at like 16 or whatever. And
Yeah.
like I'm like fine with that story, but they also like cast this dude who they're like clearly trying to play off that he's supposed to be very young looking. Like both him and Carly look like they should be in high school.
Yeah,
Or I'm
and
just old and
no, I mean, I do feel like they do not they do look well because I feel like as we've joked multiple times, it's usually the opposite where like they're cast too young. And in this one they do look young, but Carly at one point in the movie says that she is in her senior year at college. So like yeah, I don't know. Um he does not have a bio. I was gonna see if he's oh, he's from Texas.
yeah, he kind of looks like he would be. Him and Kit kind of look the same.
Hello,
So
Kit. Is this your brother?
yeah.
um, but he does like do kind of like what you would consider to be like an Amish accent, which is why I was kind of like wondering what I mean. But he's from Texas, so that makes sense. It's essentially the same thing. Okay. Okay, so they bump into each other and, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll buy you another drink." And she's like, "No, like I should be getting you a drink." He's like, "Oh, no, it's no worries." So then he goes to like buy her another drink and he gets himself a black coffee and then he has to pay with change. And so obviously she knows that he's not from around there, wherever there is, because
And I am like, I'm sure there are like, there's got to be documentaries about this stuff that's not like exploitive sort of reality show things like we were just talking about. But like, I am kind of fascinated by the idea of just like, well, go out there and like live like they say because they brought this up in that Suddenly Amish show too that just anyone outside of the community they just refer to as English.
yeah, I had
And
never heard of that.
yeah, me either. But like, I'm fascinated by the idea of just being like, all right, well, go figure out what life's like out there. You have no
Yeah.
money, no fucking like actual real world skills. I guess go figure out how to get an apartment.
Yeah, see if that's better than here, where you've lived your whole life. Yeah, I mean, I've only been, my only experience would be like movies like this, or like you said, like a reality type
Yeah.
situation. So I don't know. It does seem kind of crazy to me, but also I kind of I feel like that's I mean, like I don't know like the specifics of like do they not send them off with money?
I
Like they
don't
don't use
know because it's
money.
like they don't. Oh well, some do because like I
Yeah.
know at least in like Pennsylvania, like they have like they'll set up stalls on the side of the road and like sell shit to people. And they
Right.
have like some like there are like sectors of like Amish communities that will like go to like local um like shops or whatever to get like supplies and stuff. So like I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's probably a little different now, but it's like it is interesting to think about like I would be very interested in just like a seeing a documentary about just what that all entails from like a just very much just somebody filming and letting whatever happens sort of thing as opposed to like a reality show version of it.
Yeah. Well,
Because it is
apparently
crazy to just be like, I don't know, go figure it out. But also like I want to see one now where people just show up and the first image they see on TV is like Donald Trump. They're like, nope, go back.
yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I guess it's, like, very common, a lot of them even have credit cards and whatnot, so I think, you know,
Yeah, I know because
it's
like if you drive through, especially like and in Ohio a little bit too, but like any of the parts that are like just very much like farmland areas of like Ohio and Pennsylvania, you will see like signs for like Amish stores where you can go and
oh,
like
for sure, yeah.
buy stuff from them. So like they got to take some kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my yeah, I mean, duh, obviously, like, Amish villages and Amish goods are, like, super popular, so, like, obviously, they would da take money, but I guess I meant, like, uh, whatever, it doesn't matter. I
If
anyways,
you're
because
on
I was
Rumspringa listening to this on your flip phone, let us know.
yeah, let us
Hit
know.
us up.
I do feel like, though, obviously, like, compared to other I think that's, like, such a interesting idea to be like, "Alright, go see if you actually wanna stay here or not." Like, they're not forcing people to stay to be a part of it, which I think is great, but, I do
It
feel
it
like throwing them in the
it's
deep end could be kind of bad.
yeah, because it's like I don't know. It is fascinating because it is very much like, okay, well, go see what the world holds, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And like, if you like it, just never talk to your family ever again, or like
Yeah,
anyone you've
right.
ever known your entire life.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so
Fucking weird
he
world we live in.
yeah, very weird. He pays with change, and so she knows that he's not from around there. And he's like, yeah,
Forgot
so
that's how it started.
yeah. She literally watches him pay with like pennies and then is like, "You're not from around here, huh?" And I was like, "What?"
I would just
Um,
assume he was like borderline houseless or something. Like,
but also
not just be
like
like, well, you're clearly Amish.
yeah, also, like, I still use cash for stuff, and especially if I was gonna buy, like, a coffee, I don't feel like that's, like, a weird and so they do say that they go to South Penn, so I assume that they are in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
but, like so he basically is just like, they start talking or whatever, and he basically is just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm from around here, I'm on some kind of, like, a sabbatical," and she goes, "Oh, you're Amish," and he's like, "Oh, yeah," and she goes, "You don't look Amish." Whatever that means. And he basically says like, yeah, he's dressing English.
He's wearing a jeans and a button up like flannel shirt.
Yeah. I think
That's
he
like
looks
not like he doesn't have the hat on.
and he's not wearing suspenders.
Yeah.
But I feel like he talked and looked Amish to me.
I would be
But then
like, this dude clearly is like a Maroon 5 fan. I'm not talking to him.
no, see ya. So he basically yeah, he basically says that like when he's like out of his like community, he dresses English, which is what they call like
Yeah,
like
anyone outside
English
of their
speaking
community.
Americans. And I because he said, "Well, the ones that speak English, tee hee." And I was like, that is so interesting to me because like if I were to say that guy is English, I would think he was like European or like from Britain or
Mhm.
something, not like American whatever. So, yeah. So basically he starts like explaining the structure of his community. I'm not going to go through all of it because it doesn't he's also using a bunch of words that I don't feel like I can pronounce just from hearing them one time. But he is explaining the structure in the communities, and he says that the reason he didn't go on his Rumspringa, which, as we said, was the thing where they send the kids out when they're like was it 15 or 16? 16?
It's yeah, something like that, which also is baffling if it's that young to just be like,
I know, see ya.
go figure out how to fucking live without being able to rent an apartment somehow.
Yeah, where they can go out, they can leave their community, and they can use all of the things of, like, modern life that they don't use and experience life or whatever. That's why I feel like it could be bad because, like, anytime it this is and I'm sure that it's not like this, but my exposure to it is anytime that I've seen this happen, it's been in this kind of movie where something goes bad because the kids are like, high school age and they're immediately going to like parties where they're being exposed to like drugs, alcohol, blah blah, all the fun stuff. But like they've never experienced it before, so it just is like a lot of times I feel could be kind of like recipe for disaster. But
The more I think about that, I'm like, I am even more fascinated because it's like, okay, so let's assume you were in like one of the communities that like actively does not go out into like quote unquote regular world. So like
mhm.
you're born in that community without going to a hospital, anything like that. I'm assuming you don't have a social security card or a birth certificate.
Mm.
That
I have no idea.
or at least that's like one that's like recognized by like the country. So like if you do go out and leave and decide to stay, like I wonder
Oh.
like how does that work? Because you would not have like anything that sets you up as like, being a quote unquote citizen and like being able to like do anything.
So, I guess, like, technically okay, so this says Rumspringa is a Pennsylvania Dutch term meaning runaround, which I think is cute. A rite of passage where we talk teens around 18 experience more freedom from church rules before deciding on adult baptism. Its purpose is to allow the youth to explore English, sometimes involving parties, cars, or phones, but often just more independence, to make an informed choice about committing to the Amish lifestyle. While popularized as wild, for many it's a period of social activities, courtship, finding a spouse, with most choosing baptism and returning to the church, though some leave. So to me, it sounds like sometimes they don't necessarily just leave the
Right.
community. They just have like more freedom to like do whatever. So I don't know. I feel like it's probably not always like, see you later, 16-year-old, go into the city. Like sometimes it probably is, but I feel like it's not always, which makes more
Yeah.
sense to me. But
But I'm also still just like, how do you, if you do decide to leave, like, I can't even imagine what like setting up your life outside of that community has to be like.
I wonder I wonder if there's some sort of like exchange program where there's like people who not no, 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 not
No,
like you.
I like your idea better where they're like, well, you go find somebody and they have to come back and take your
Yeah,
place.
and decide if they wanna no, like, I wonder if there's people who, like, sponsor, so they'll be like, "We have a, like, room in our house, your child can come stay here and, like, do
I wonder if
Rumspringa."
it is a thing. Well, because like if you think about it, there's probably at least somebody that's in that family that has decided to leave.
Yeah.
And so like I wonder if you just like go stay with them.
Yeah, so yeah, mhm, yeah, and so, yeah, this does say often portrayed as wild, but many of them stay in the social circles. This is basically just, like, giving them freedom to if they wanna start courting somebody and find a partner.
Yeah.
I love that this says, like, activities, it's, like, saying things that they do for it. It ranges from mild, which is decorating buggies and using smartphones, to more rebellious, like parties, driving cars, and drinking.
This
Traditional
is
activities include social gatherings, singing, and courtship. So, yeah, I really did have a misunderstanding of what this was. Um,
so this is from Reddit, so grain of salt.
sure.
But a bunch of people are just basically saying that like some Amish communities will file for like birth certificates and social security numbers and then like just refuse like any benefits that come from it, but just because they know like if somebody does decide to leave and like they're going to need that, I guess.
Yeah, that and, like, if they're having, I would assume that if they have some kind of company where they're selling goods to the public, they would have to have that information, right?
Yeah, well,
So
because, like, I know, like, they're, like, the country's not just, like, letting them have that land for free, so they have to be paying some sort of taxes and shit.
right.
I mean, I would assume. This country doesn't fucking let anyone have anything for free, including the people that were here before us, so
They do. Income, state, property. Yep. They
we're not even gonna talk about this movie, we're just gonna talk about,
no.
like, the fucking nitty-gritty of being Amish,
Yeah.
which we
I
know a lot
do
about, obviously.
Yeah, we are experts.
I
Yeah,
have
and
seen one
yeah,
movie and one episode of a TV show.
that's right. I, okay, yeah, alright. Let's okay, so, "You don't look Amish," he says. He said he's dressing English, which I think is so interesting. Okay, so he basically, like I said, he starts talking about like the structure and the rules that they have within the community. He said that the reason that he didn't go on his Rumspringa when he was 16 is because his mom got sick and then she died. And so he decided that he was going to like stay with his family during that time of grieving. And so now as a 20 something year old question mark, he is going on it now. Um then she divulges to him that um sorry, my uh okay. She
Oh,
divulges to
that
him
her mom died
her mom is
too.
also dead. Yeah. And so they basically are like bonded because of that. He shows her his I again will say that this movie came out in 2024. He shows her his cool new flip phone and she's like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this piece of shit?"
It's just Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany with her Barbie phone. And, she is, like, looking at it, and he was like, "No, like, this phone is perfectly fine." And she goes, "Okay, do you wanna take a picture?" And he says, "I've never done one before, so sure." This is the idea that you've never had your picture taken to me is, like, insane, and I actually think it would be pretty cool. I do
Yeah, I
not like
would
to
like
be
to
perceived by photos.
same.
So I was like, "Oh, damn," but he's like, "Okay, yeah," and so he looks at the picture, they take a selfie because it's like a piece of shit phone, it only has a frontward facing camera, and, he's, like, kind of emotional about it, and he goes, "Oh, we're just, like, not allowed to have pictures of ourselves," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry," and he's like, "No, no, this is great, I love it," and she goes, "Okay," and he's like, "Oh, by the way, my name is Abram." I was like, "You guys didn't immediately say what your names were? That's weird." Um, and so she said, "My name's Carly." And then he's basically just like, "You're the only person I know here. Can I see you again?" So she gives him her phone number. Big mistake. Huge. Then there's a collage of them texting and giggling. However, when they show him on the phone, he looks very menacing. It's like dark with like a lantern in the background. So he's like grinning like the Joker. He kind of does look like the guy who's like the Joker in
Oh, no,
Gotham,
I was gonna
the
say, that's,
shameless
like,
guy.
when he, like, first showed up, I was like, "Wait," like, for, like, half a second, I was like, "Is that dude from Gotham?" But it's clearly
No.
not.
He does look very similar. Okay, so Dad and Carly celebrate their mom's birthday, and someone, quote unquote, is lurking outside in the dark, looking in their window. The next day, this is, like, strange to me. I feel like the pacing of this movie is one of the things that was weird because basically in the very beginning of the movie when Carly's talking to Jenna, Jenna is, like, going on a boat trip for all of summer, and Jenna is like, "Oh, I can't believe we're gonna be gone all of summer," right? So then the next day or, like, the next scene is her meeting Abram at the coffee shop, and they talk, they're texting. The next day he has told her about how she told him her mom gave her this hummingbird necklace that she loved, and then when her mom died, she lost it and she was sad about it. So the next day he gives her a hummingbird necklace. Red That's weird. I'm sorry.
Is it the next day?
So this is kind of what I'm getting at because it's the literally the next scene.
Yeah.
He gives her the necklace and she's like, "Oh my god, this is so sweet." They kiss. Then it's, like, dark out, and they immediately are, like, making out, and she's like, "Is this okay?" And he's like, "Yeah," and they absolutely, like, hook up in the back of his truck or whatever, and then that next morning, because they, like, sleep in the they're, like, in the bed of the truck until the sun comes back up, and she says, like, um, "Hey, like, oh, man, I can't believe summer's over already." So I was like, "Wait, what?" So
Yeah,
they
my
yeah,
assumption was that, like, the entire thing was just taking place over, like, the summer,
I
but
guess
it's
so.
I feel like it should have been, like,
There needed to be,
just
like, a
dates
montage
on
or
s
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it went from I'm like, literally, they meet, the next scene is just them texting, the next scene is the celebration where somebody, obviously him, is outside, and then the next scene is him giving her the necklace and them hooking up. She says, "Oh my god, I can't believe summer's over already. I'm going back to school next week." And so, like, essentially, he is, like, obviously obsessed with her and is like, "Oh, well, you don't have to go, right? I don't have to go back to my community. I could just stay here and be with you." And she's basically just like, "LOL, no." Like giving vibes that this was just like a summer fling. And he's like obviously upset about it. And she's like, "Well, it doesn't make sense for you to stay here because I'm not staying. I'm going back to school." And she's basically just like, "Oh, well." And she was basically just like, "All right, this was cool. See you later. Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he's like literally foaming at the mouth. He's so upset. And that's why I'm saying like this confused me because I felt like the entire summer was like 4 scenes long, not a montage either, which I felt
Well, you
like
have to
was
get to the kidnapping real quick.
yeah, but then I feel like the kidnapping goes on for so long. Okay,
I
so he so he's obviously upset, but he just kind of plays it off. He's like, "Yeah, see ya." So the next scene, she goes to school. So that's what I'm saying. It's like a week later. The very next scene, she's going to school. Her dad's like, "Do you have your medicine? Do you have everything?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so like now we know that like the reason she stayed home this summer was because the mom died recently and she didn't want to leave her dad alone. And so she's like, I can come home on the weekends or whatever. And he's like, "Don't you dare. Go off and have fun. Go on, get." And she's like, "Okay." So she gets in her car, drives to school. Abram is watching from the woods. Uh, at school, Carly reunites with Jenna, her best friend, tells her about Abram. Jenna's like already sus from the get go. Jenna is she is like the definition of a down bitch. She hears about this guy and is immediately like, he seems weird or whatever, but she doesn't really say anything at first, right? Because it's like Carly is like, "Oh, it was just a summer fling. I had a lot of fun, but like it's over now." And so they're like, "Cool." So the very next scene, Jenna is on campus and she runs into fucking Abram. And he's basically just like, "What? What are you doing here? This is so crazy." And she's like, hey, like, what the fuck?" And he's like, "Yeah, oh my god, I didn't know you go here. I'm enrolled. That's so funny." And he basically says that like having met her gave him a thirst for life and he just wants to learn now. So instead of going back to his community, he decided to go to school and the community is totally chill with it. They're like, "Yeah, go ahead, go to college." And so she's like, "Okay, cool. I guess I'll see you around or whatever." And they have, like, a little bit of a conversation where she's basically just like, "Did you follow me here? LOL," kind of, like, joking, but he gets, like, really intense looking, and she's like, "How were you even allowed to enroll here?" He tells some lie about how he was able to do school via the mail and that he was, like, mailed a high school diploma, and she's like, "Wow, crazy." She's like, believes everything that this fucking dude says. So that night they go to a party and Jenna meets Abram and she's like again immediately sus, right? She's like, "How like what are you doing here? This is like so weird. Like what a weird coincidence." And he basically just like ignores her and then that night Jenna spends the night with him, I guess, and he goes, "I think I'm falling in love with you, Carly." It's very creepy.
No one ever
There
do that to me while I'm sleeping.
Lex is gonna come in and whisper to you.
Lex does do
There
that.
yeah. There's, like, an awkward interaction with one of Carly's male classmates, with, Abram, and Jenna is basically, again, just, like, so sus and being like, I don't know, like, Jenna's, like, laying out all of these red flags to Carly about Abram, and Abram's just like or Abram, Carly's just like, I don't know, he's so nice and sweet, and she's like, his mom died also, so he's the only one who understands what I'm going through." And Jenna is like, "I mean, I lost my dad." And Carly is like, "Yeah, but he walked out on you. He didn't die." And Jenna is offended, and I hate to say, but I kind of agree with Carly. Having a parent, like, who you still have a good relationship with die in your house or, like, in your care or whatever is different than, like, your deadbeat dad walking out on you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Jenna is, like, extremely offended by this situation, though. So, but like I said, Jenna is a down bitch. So the first thing, even though they just got in this argument, she goes and flirts with this dude at the records counter and is basically like, "Hey, could you look up this guy Abram?" And so he looks it up and is like, "I'm sorry, I'm not seeing anybody named that enrolled here." Jenna got his ass. So she goes and confronts Abram about it and is like, "You're not enrolled here and you're fucking stalking her." And he's basically and she's like, "You need to, like, leave her alone or I'm gonna tell her what's going on here." Uh, later that night, Jenna is in the bathroom, like, at school, and she hears, like, noises and she, like, looks under the stalls and she's like, "Oh, nobody's here." And then this is, like, straight out of Scream, where, like, the black boots
The
just
boots
come one after the other, like, down from the toilet. And, somebody in wearing all
is a
black
ghoulie.
in a yeah, in a hockey mask, like, comes up and, like, punches her out. I don't really understand the point of this because she's totally fine. So,
Yeah,
like
I was like, other than I think just pointing out that he's, like, kind of reckless,
and, like,
like but I was like,
psychotic.
"Oh, like, maybe he's gonna, like, kidnap her or, like, something or, like, put her in a coma so she can't be involved or, like, whatever." But it
Yeah.
was like he literally just, like, hits her on the head, and then it just cuts to, like, her being walked home by the police and being like, "I did tell him, I know it was your boyfriend."
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of like I mean, I guess, like, the whole point of it is, like you're saying, he's reckless and, like, kind of psychotic enough that he will result to violence. Like, we obviously know because of what this movie is called, that the guy in the beginning of the movie was Abram, but he didn't technically do anything to that girl. She just fell and hit her head on a rock. So, like, so far we haven't, I guess, technically seen him be violent, even though he's, like, obviously obsessed with her and, like, unstable. But yeah, he just, like, hits her on the side of the head. Which I guess is just like, I don't know, he was thinking he was just gonna, like, scare her into being quiet, but I'm gonna tell you, if you're a fellow down bitch, you're not gonna just not do anything and be like, "Oh man, that guy hit me in the head." Like, you're gonna get pepper spray, and the next time he comes back, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, the next day, yeah, the police escort Jenna home, and, Carly is just like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And she's just like, "Yeah, somebody attacked me." She looks totally fine also. She doesn't have a bruise or anything. She just is, like, fine. And the cops kind of, like, question Carly, like, "Do you know who could have done this?" And she's basically just like, "Oh my god, no, I have no idea." So the cops leave. Jenna immediately tells Carly that she thinks Abram did it because he's obsessed with her and he's been stalking her. She tells her about how he's not actually enrolled in the school and how he threatened her and, like, it was definitely him. And Carly responds sort of uncharacteristically because she basically is pissed off and she's basically just like, "No, Jenna, everything's fine. Like, you're just jealous of anyone else who gets close to me, and you're just jealous because we were friends during the summer and you weren't here or whatever." And Jenna's like, "No, that's, like, not what's going on here, like, can't you see this guy's fucking crazy?" And, like, I will point out too that, like, when Abram shows up at the college, Carly does start hanging out with him again, but she doesn't really seem like that into him, so I don't know why she's getting so upset. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I think she is, and then, like, I forget what it was. Something happens, and maybe it was this that she or, like, this happens, and then, like, I think the next time they see each other, he's just, like, being weird. I forget what it is, but then she's just like, "Ooh, this is sketchy." And that's when she
yeah.
starts pulling away or whatever.
Well, so Carly, like I said, Carly's pissed. She says Jenna's jealous or whatever, and then Jenna's like, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm trying to look out for you or whatever." And Carly says, "I'm not your dad. I'm not gonna leave you."
Burn.
Excuse you? And so Jenna is just like, I suddenly have a really bad headache from getting punched in the head, so I'm gonna go lay down." I was like, fair. Also, I'm like, Carly wasn't alarmed at all that Jenna just like didn't come home. Like,
Uh, I don't like so that's, like, part of the thing that when it happens later, like, when Jenna's like, "She didn't come home last night," and, like, I get it. Some people, that's, like, very out of the ordinary, but I'm also like, "It's college."
for sure.
Especially,
Okay.
like, it's college and she has a boyfriend. Maybe she's staying at his place.
Well, I don't think Jenna doesn't have a boyfriend.
No, I'm talking about, like, later when it's, like, Carly and
Oh,
Jenna, like,
oh, oh, oh,
freaks
oh, yeah.
out immediately, and I'm like, I
No,
get
because
it,
yeah, she's a down bitch and she knows what's up.
but I'm just like,
Carly
there are things where I'm just like, yeah, like, it's one thing when I'm like, okay, she hasn't answered, like, a text in 8 hours or whatever, right?
yeah,
Like, I get it. That if I feel like is more alarming than, like, a college student with a boyfriend and not coming home for a night.
right. Right, but I'm saying Carly does not
Look, I'm
actually seem
saying
to.
Jenna overreacted. Nothing
No.
bad was happening.
Fair. But what I'm saying is that I feel like Carly is, like, touted as this, like, girl who cares about everyone, and she just, like, doesn't notice that Jenna like, I know that they got in that argument or whatever, like, kind of that argument before, but I'm just like, she just, like, doesn't notice that Jenna is gone completely, and if you guys are actually best friends, like, I have my location shared with my like, Tiffany and one of my friends who lives in California, even though what am I gonna do? Like, I live in Florida, but I feel like, you know, I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I trust me, I
Car
understand. I know, like, especially most women
yeah. So
have
the
that.
fact yeah, so the fact that Carly is just kind of like, "Oh my god," where like, I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Look,
Um,
I don't share my location with anybody, so if I disappear, don't look for me. I probably did it on purpose.
can you even do that on your phone?
Yeah, you can share that. Like, Google Maps, you could, like, just share with, like, anything.
Oh. Well, ours is, like, through iPhone, the Find My
Yeah,
Family or
I know.
whatever, so I
But
didn't know
there's,
if it
like
was
there's
a
yeah,
thing.
there's ways you could do that on, like, anything, pretty much.
Oh. I know that Snapchat lets you do it too, but I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm not. Okay.
I'm trying to fake
Carly,
my own death here, so
all right, noted. Um, Carly tells. Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, she said, I'm not, she's like, I got a headache from being punched in the head. Like, see ya. So Carly goes to confront Abram about Jenna getting attacked, and he's just like, "Oh my god, is she okay?" Just like she's basically just like, "Yeah, she's fine, but like she told me that you're not enrolled in this college, so like what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so embarrassed because, I told you that I was like doing college or doing high school through the mail. Well, apparently it wasn't real and I got scammed. And so I found out the day after I told you that I actually wasn't accepted, which makes no sense because, like, how could he show up? Why would he, if he wasn't sure, why would he show up and like he's pretending to go to classes? Like he sat in at classes with her. You don't get a fucking class schedule if you're not actually enrolled in the school, right? So that makes
yeah,
no sense.
this is the thing where I think that she's, like, first, like, red flag or whatever for her because, like, especially after,
Finally.
like, because, like, she has that talk with Jenna before, and I think this is the thing where she's like, "Okay, well, this isn't adding up."
Right. She So then, like, in the next scene, she's, like, talking to her friend, her classmate in the quad, and Abram asks her, like, texts her, like, "Hey, do you wanna hang out?" And she's like, "Oh, sorry, stuck in class," but he's, like, standing there watching her. Then he's like she's, like, doing homework, and he's texting her, and there's, like, I don't know how she is, like, dealing with this because her phone sound is on, it's like, "Ding, ding, ding, ding." He's just, like, texting her, texting her, texting her, texting her, and finally, she's like, what the shit's going on?" So she looks at her phone, and Abram has sent her a photo of her dad in his house, but the photo that he sent makes it seem like it's, like, from outside the window, and she's like, oh my god," so she calls and, like, her dad doesn't pick up, so she gets in the car and she drives an hour to the
An
house,
hour.
and
What's great,
the
you know how far that is in, like, Pennsylvania? Because all of that shit is probably, like, back roads and highway and shit, so you're, like, not really dealing with a lot of traffic once you get out of the college area. So it's just, like, you probably drove, like, 80 miles.
also, like, driving an hour when you're freaked out about something happening, I could not even imagine that. So, yeah, so she gets there, her dad's fine,
Just call the police and have them check on your dad.
right? Just yeah. Um, but she gets there and, like, he's fine, and Abram's there, and they've been, like, looking at baby pictures together, which is so fucking weird
This
because
dad is fucked up.
like, definitely. Because basically, like, they're like, "Here, we were looking at baby pictures, tee hee," and she's like, "Abram, can I talk to you alone?" And so the situation, he basically is just like, I wanted to meet you." She's like, "What was that picture about? Was this a threat?" And he's like, "No, I wanted to meet your dad and thought you'd appreciate the text." I feel like if I'm the dad and this, like, dude that my daughter was, like, casually seeing during the summer just showed up at the house, I would probably call my daughter and be like, "Hey, this dude's here." I wouldn't be like, "Come in and look at the baby album." Like,
Right?
that's fucking weird to me. And, like, the fact that he didn't say anything to her, considering as they're because again, they've made Carly and her dad seem very, very close to the point where they're, like, text all the time. They have a weekly FaceTime appointment that they do or whatever. And the dad, like, when push comes to shove, is a down bitch also. But, like, this situation to me was just, like, very weird. So then Carly is like, "No, this is fucking weird, like, you're borderline stalking me." And I was like, "No, baby, he is stalking you. There's no borderline, stalking is stalking." And so she's like, "You're really freaking me out, like, I need you to just, like, take a step back, and, like, we just need some time or whatever." And, he's like, she's like, I can't be in a relationship right now." And he's basically just like, sorry, like, I'll do better. I won't stalk you as much or something." And she's like, "No, like, I just need some time." And he's like, "But I love you." And she's like, "Get out of here." And she, like, goes inside. He continues to stalk her a little bit, which is really just like the next scene, she is hanging out studying with her um Co
Wyatt.
yeah, her I was gonna say her colleague, her school colleague, her classmate, and they, like, studied and they went to eat, and they're, like, walking back to the house, and there's a party there, so she's like, "Hey, do you wanna come into the party?" He's like, "No, I really have to go study," and she's like, "Okay, well, I had a great time, like, hanging out with you," and they hug. All of a sudden, Abram comes out of nowhere and fucking punches or tackles Wyatt or something, and would you fucking know it, Wyatt also falls on a rock and hits his head. I was like, "Is
What a
this dude"
coincidence.
right? I was like, I was shocked the first time I saw it, but the second time, I was like, "Is this dude, like, bringing the rocks with him to, like, put on the ground and then knock people over to and then be like, 'Oops?'" Like, what a crazy coincidence. Um, Carly is, like, freaked out, and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. You killed him. I have to call the police." And he's like, "No, don't." And then he kidnaps her. So the rest of the movie, she's kidnapped. Um, he was basically oh, yeah, so he takes her back to his Amish house, which is actually pretty nice. It's like a log house. He's got, like, crystal chandeliers for some reason, but it's nice. And he's basically just like, "Hey, I was just trying to protect you from that guy, like, chill out. He's fine, he's just in a coma." And Carly's like, "Oh my god, okay.
Good, everything's fine.
Just chill, okay? He's not dead." Um, and so I just thought of a really good stalked by. Stalked by my girlfriend in a coma.
Yep.
And the girlfriend's in a coma, but she can project her she's haunts somebody because
She sends Morrissey after you.
yeah, that would be scary.
Yep.
Um, basically, she's, like, calling for help, and he's just like this scene to me was, like, extremely funny because I know it's supposed to be, like, dramatic because he's kidnapped her and she's, like, screaming, and he's like she wakes up with a gag on, he takes the gag off and he's like, "I'm just trying to protect you, like, you have to understand, um, whatever." And so she's like screaming, and he's like, "No one can hear you if you scream." And she's like, "Help, help." And so she's like, he shuts her and locks her in this room. And she's just like, "Help, help," like screaming out the windows. And he kept just being like, "Carly, get some rest. You got to get some rest. Get some rest." And she's like, "Ah, help, help." And then he goes, "Carly, go to bed." It's like broad daylight, by the way.
Look,
And
she's
she's
gotta
like,
get up early to go
like,
collect mushrooms.
right? The entire every single time something happens, he's just like, "Get some rest," and then he shuts the door on her, like, as if she's a toddler that's just, like, literally actually gonna go to sleep. She basically asks Abram if she can have her she has decided to play along at this point because, like, what else can she do? So she asks for her phone so that she can text Jenna and her dad because she's like, "They're gonna be concerned about me," and he's just like, "Hmm." So he texts them from her phone being like, "Hey, everything's fine. Don't contact me," essentially. Um, the next morning she wakes up and she doesn't feel well, and this is when she's like, "Oh my god, where's my bag? Like, I have a heart condition. I need my medication." And Abram's like, "Why wouldn't you tell me that you had a heart condition?" And she's like, "I don't know." And my
That
also
that's a thing where I'm like, there's no way if they spent the summer together just hanging out and having all these conversations that has never once come up.
right. And like or that he hadn't seen her take the
Yeah.
medication. Like it's crazy to me. So I do understand why he doesn't believe her. Like he thinks that this is just a ploy to get because she's like, "You have to take me to a." So she's like, "Where's my bag? Like I need this medication." He's like looking in the bag and he's like, "There's no medication here." And she's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, I need that medication. I'm gonna die. Like you have to take me to the doctor." And he's like, "No, no, no." And she freaks out. He freaks out. She's like sobbing uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Jenna, the next morning, has found Carly's little like medication tin in the driveway and she's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" So, she immediately that's what I'm saying. She immediately knows something bad has gone down. And so, after Carly has like sobbed and is like very obviously like actually upset, he's like, "Okay, I will bring somebody to see you, but before that, you have to look Amish." So he makes her take her makeup off. She takes all her jewelry off or whatever. And he basically explains to her that the community, like where they are, it's his house in a new Amish community that accepts quote unquote people like us. And at this point, we have no idea what that means. Like what does that mean, people like us?
This was like a good movie. When he said that, I was like, please tell me there's some weird freaks here. Like they go outside and it's just like a bunch of weird like monsters or some shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just a regular. So he's basically just like, "I'm going to bring somebody to see you about your heart condition, but you have to promise me that you're just going to act normal and act, you can't say anything. If you do, like I know where your dad and Jenna live. So take that."
I
So he
just like it's like I don't know why. I'm just thinking about how like when she talks to Mona in like a scene or whatever, and where she's just like, "So I like, why are you here? I know this is all like a community for people that were like shunned from their communities or whatever." And she's just like, "I questioned my faith," and I'm like, "That's it."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so we meet Mona. Mona is basically just like the town doctor slash witch, is what I'm gonna call her, because she basically just has like made this tincture from Foxglove flowers, and she's just like, just put a couple drops in your tea and you'll be fine." And I was like, so this entire time they want me to believe that Carly has been taking probably very expensive medicine when all she had to do was just grow some flowers and drink the flower. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. And I'm also like, why would Mona just like know how to treat a heart condition like that? That seems crazy. Anyways,
Somebody there, because there seemed like a good amount of people,
yeah,
probably has
she's
some
just
sort of
like,
thing.
you know what? I would believe she's just a genius doctor, witch doctor lady.
I
That's
I
fine.
also have to assume that, like, there's some sort of, like, teaching about that stuff if, like, somebody has to be the sort of medical caregiver in the community.
I guess so, yeah. Um, so meanwhile, Jenna tells Carly's dad that Carly is kidnapped, and he's basically just like, "Okay, I believe you." That's why I'm saying he's also a down bitch, even if he's a little stupid.
Yeah,
Because
sounds like
Jenna
Carly.
Yeah, Jenna is basically just like, "Hey, I haven't heard from Carly. Her boyfriend's fucking sus. Also, I found her medicine." So, also, and then the dad's like, "Well, she did cancel our FaceTime appointment. That's not like her." He's like, "All right." They both go from 0 to 100 immediately, which I love. Um, meanwhile, like Carly breaks a porcelain cup and and uses a piece of the cup to pick the lock on the door, and I was like, I don't think so."
She's not very good at this, I will
No.
say.
So she leaves the door open so that when Abram comes up, he's like suspicious about the door being open. She has some kind of like heavy object she's found in the room, and she's gonna try and hit him with it, but he just like overpowers her immediately. I was like, yeah, I don't really know why you thought that would work. He's like very tall compared to her too. So it's not like she was gonna like overpower him. She listen, speaking from experience, because I'm very short and my husband is very tall, I don't think that I could just walk up and hit him in the head with something like straight on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like her holding this thing at like the top of her, like with her arm fully extended, maybe would have hit him in the face. But so like you're not coming down on top of somebody and hitting, bludgeoning them. She didn't really think it through, I guess. He basically is just like, "What are you doing?" She was like she was just like, "Sorry, I got scared because you threatened my family, so I just thought you were gonna hurt me. I'm sorry." He's like, "It's fine." That night, he wraps her up in a blanket. He, like, baby
God, I
burritos
want this
her.
so bad. Not the staring at each other's eyes shit, but someone just come wrap me up in a burrito.
He does, like, wrap her up like a baby in a burrito and puts her on her side in the bed, and he gets in the bed next to her, but there's, like, a divider between them, and he basically is just like, "This is a courting ritual, and basically you're supposed to get to know somebody without carnal temptation, and so we just, like, lay here and stare in each other's eyes and get to know each other," which probably we should have been doing this entire time, and I was like, "She's not Amish, though, so, like, you wouldn't have just been doing that before."
Yeah. Like, then he's like, "This is what we should have done anyway," and I'm like, "Bro, you fucked her, like, 3 months ago. So
Li
fast."
Literally, like,
In,
immediately.
like, the back of a truck or some shit.
Yeah, like, how much more, like whatever. Okay, so then she's basically just like, "Why?" And he's basically like, "Well, I'm gonna be your husband, so we need to do this or whatever." And she's basically just like, "Ew." Uh, so there's like a brief scene where, no surprise here, the cops basically tell the dad that there's nothing they can do and it's not suspicious at all. So
The cops are
basically,
like me, and I'm like, "Yeah, she's a college girl, she ain't coming home."
right. See, this is the issue here. Yes.
If it gets to be, like, 7 days from now, let us know.
Oh my god. That's essentially, they basically were like, "We literally do not care. See you later." So, Jenna and Dad are gonna do it themselves.
We got a young kid on campus that's already in a coma, we don't have time for this.
Literally. But, like, I do feel like they should have found it suspicious because they know Jenna got attacked, right? And they just, like, they're just like, "Eh, you
Yeah,
kids."
right.
So, Carly, oh my god. there's a scene where Carly and Abram are eating dinner, and it grossed me out. It was
Did
essentially like I was
did
gonna
you
say
see what I posted as the, like, next week's episode,
no.
thing?
Is it him eating?
It's a letterbox review that just said, "My favorite subtitles
Oh,
was Abraham slurping, meat
meat
squelching."
squelching, yeah. I this was, like, second only to that scene in Pet Sematary 2 where, Clarence
It's
whatever is eating the
A
mashed
Brown. Is it Brown?
yeah.
Clarence
I think
Brown,
it is
yeah.
I my immediate thought was Clarence Brown, but then I was like, "Is that correct?" Is eating mashed potatoes, but he's like a zombie and it's, like, coming down his that was like this. It was, like, disgusting to me. He's also, like, lip smacks his fingers, which I can't stand.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
And while they're eating dinner, there's a knock on the door, so he leaves. It's Mona just having come to check on her. And so like while that's happening, Carly goes through the cutlery to try and find a knife. And she like this was also confusing to me because she it seems like she takes a butter knife like for a butter dish,
Yeah, like one
but
of those little
then
butter spreaders is not even really a knife.
yeah, which but, like, if you stab somebody in the eye with that, that's
Sure, or the
sufficient, you know what I
throat.
mean? Yeah, but then when he comes back in, he notices that the drawer is open, so he goes and is like, "Spread them," and basically, like, frisks her to try and find the knife and just, like, doesn't find one, and so he's like, "Oh, sorry, I just thought well, I don't know." So I'm like, "Why did they make it seem like she stole a knife if she didn't?"
I
Do
was
you know what I
really
mean? Like
expecting this to come back as she, like, gets to the truck and can't find the key. I was like, "Oh, she's gonna, like, use it to, like,
use
hotwire
the
it or
knife.
something."
Yeah, no, I think she just put the knife back. And I don't know if, like, she was trying to make him if she decided, like, this isn't good enough, and then she was trying to make him feel bad for suspecting her or what, but, like, that's what I'm saying, like, the pacing in this movie is just, like, not great. They could have
Well,
cut
it's
this out.
like I don't know if it's, like, the pacing for me as much as I'm just like, why do there need to be, like, 10 red herring sort of things that she
Right,
tries to do?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
have her find it and, like, even if it's, like, she tries to attack him or, like, tries to use it to, like, pick a lock or something. Like, make there be a reason that she, like, tried to grab that,
That's what
uh
I'm saying, like, it
yeah.
just it goes nowhere. So, the next morning, she makes herself throw up in the basin, and she's like, "Oh, it must be the Foxglove, can you get Mona?" And so he's like, "Yeah." So, this is the scene you were talking about earlier where they're talking, and, Mona is just like, "Oh, try 4 drops instead of 5, and you should be fine." And I was like, "Oh,
Sounds
okay."
like a doctor.
Right? I mean, fair. Mona says that the community is all Amish who have been shunned from their original communities and is kind of like shocked to hear that this is news to Carly. And this is when Mona says that the thing that she got shunned for was questioning her faith. That's why I'm saying like this new community is very interesting to me because it's like I feel like, they have like specific rules you have to follow. If you break the rules, you get excommunicated or whatever. I feel like at that point, like what you still want to be Amish, so you're just gonna. But it's like the reasons for being shunned is like I was like, do I really believe in this? Versus this other man who killed somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they're not the degrees to which people are being shunned and then end up in the same community are a little drastic, I feel
I
like.
I need to know what question my faith involves because if it was just like, "I don't know if God's real," they're just like, "Get out, goodbye." Like, that's
Literally.
wild. Like, maybe have some conversations.
Well, and so here's, like, my other question about that too, is that, like, that literally seems to be the point of the Rumspringa, which is basically like you can either like go explore if you decide that you believe and want to stay a part of the Amish, then they baptize you as an adult and you stay in the community. If you decide you don't want to do that, then you just leave. So I'm like, I don't understand. I guess I don't know. I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, she basically was just like, I don't know, and they're like, get out, get out. Um, And so, yeah, so And I think that, like, kind of what they're getting at for Mona is that, like, she wasn't really sure that and she very basically, like, admits Carly is just like, "If you, like, have you ever thought about just leaving?" And Mona's like, "Yeah, well, yeah, totally." So I think that the thing that they're getting at with Mona's character is that, like, she was unjustly punished for wondering if she wanted something else for herself, but when she gets kicked out, she's never known anything else and she doesn't know where to go and she doesn't have anything. So, obviously, like, the only thing she could do was, like, rejoin this other Amish situation. So, um, meanwhile, the dad searches land deeds with Abram's name so that he can try and figure out where Abram is. They end up going, and it's Abram's family's plot. Shocking to find that the mom is alive, even though he said that the mom was dead. And basically, they're like, sorry if if your daughter is with our son. He's like super troubled. He got shot."
That bitch is dead.
Right? This is where I'm also confused because they like we said, this movie started at an absolute 10 where he appears to be going to kill this girl and then she falls and dies, right? And but then when they're talking about him being shunned, they say that he lost it and attacked an elder. And I was like, "What?" That has nothing to do with anything. Um so they're just basically just like thoughts and prayers. I don't know.
It's
Um
wild that they like. I mean, I guess if they just leave, there's no way to keep in touch with each other. But I'm like, how do you not know where he's at?
Well, yeah, and I guess especially because, like, he's dangerous, so I feel like you would wanna keep
Yeah, there
tabs on
could
him.
there's a sequel to this movie that is just him waging war against his old community.
Right.
Amish
Um,
Civil War.
ooh, I'd watch
Oh,
that.
yeah, trademark I suffer.
Okay. Mona basically invites Carly to be a part of the community, and Carly's like, "Yeah, golly gee, I'd love that, just to prove to you that I wanna be here all of a sudden." And Abram is, like, delusional, so he's like, "Okay, cool." So he sends Carly with Mona to gather mushrooms in the woods or whatever by herself. And basically Carly confirms with Mona that, like, everything that Abram has said to her is a lie, like the mom's alive. You know, Mona is talking about how there was oh. Okay, never mind. I take that back. The thing with the girl in the beginning happened at this current community. That's why it's, like, unrelated. Because
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Mona says tells about Rachel, which was the girl in the beginning, but she says that Abram was courting her and which is, like, interesting because it's like they were courting, but then Rachel was cheating on him with that stable boy or whatever the fuck, and Abram found them, walked in on them kissing or whatever. And so basically it's like, well, she fell and hit her head and died, so nobody can prove that Abram did anything, but, like, I don't know, I can tell that you're not here
Oh, they should have
on
watched the
of your
beginning
own
of this
will,
movie.
right? Like, well, they're
Get a
not allowed to
fucking
watch
Tubi
TV,
account. Yeah, it's
right?
true.
And no internet. So, Mona tells, I can tell you're not here on your own, and Carly is very much just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Mona's like, well, you can't. This is always so funny to me because Mona is like, well, you can't just, like, run out to the woods because Abram knows these woods like the back of his hand. I'm sorry, no, you don't. That's not a thing. Especially at night, like, if she just ran into the woods, I mean, I don't know, whatever. Um,
I feel like you
so
could say that for, like, maybe the first 500 feet in circumference around the house. After
right?
that, like, he's not gonna be able to, like, track her like he
He
could just,
knows.
like a bloodhound.
Right, there's, like, miles and miles of, like, rural woods, but he knows them but like the back of his hand? I don't think so. Mona tells Carly about Abram's truck being, like, back behind a shed or whatever, and she's like, "He keeps the key underneath the passenger seat." So that night, while they're sleeping, they're in bed together or whatever, Carly gets up and sneaks out, but she gets to the truck and the key, she cannot find it. He wakes up and is like, "Carly!" and is, like, screaming her name and, like, running around. That hurt my throat. And, while he's, like, running around looking for her, she sneaks back in and is, like like, running around, like, looking in the truck or whatever. She's not there, so he comes back into the house and goes back up to the bedroom, and she's up there, and she's like, "Abram, where the hell you been, loca?" And he's, like, unhinged at this point because she's like, "I just needed some night air," and he's like, "I just needed some night air," and he's, like, mocking her, like, bibble babbling, and I was like, "Oh my god." He's pissed off, he calls her liar, and she's basically just like, "No, my guy, you are a psychopath." And he is like, "You know what? You are a sinner. You've broken 2 of the 3 rules here, and you're gonna be punished. Like, I don't wanna do it, but, you know." So the next day, he calls all of the community into this barn where the girl Rachel from the beginning died, and he's basically just, like, chastising Carly in front of all of them, being like, "You're a sinner and you're not repenting, so you're gonna be shunned by the community, and you're gonna see what it's like to not follow the rules and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, this is weird to me because, like, he's forcing her to try and be Amish. Like, it's not like she chose this. Like, what do you mean she needs to repent for her sins? She doesn't give a shit about this. Like, I don't know. This entire thing was, like, weird to me. So she's, like, crying, right? Because he's, like, fucking yelling at her in front of all the people in the town. And, yeah, he's gonna shun her, which is just her being locked in, like, a horse stable. I was like, "Okay."
Well, for who knows how long, because they never say.
Don't know, yeah. One of the nights, Mona brings Carly water and bread. I assume that, like, no, she hasn't been eating or drinking or whatever. And, basically, Mona is like, "I don't know what you're gonna do because, like, he's watching you like a hog, watching your every move." And then, Carly's like, "Well, I have an idea to get him to stop watching me." Meanwhile, Jenna has found out where the Amish community is, via the internet. She basically just explains the internet working to help her
Just in
find
case
this
anyone
community.
Amish is watching.
Right. Um, so when Carly is finally released from the horse stable, she says to Abram, like, "Okay, you know what? I was wrong. I am sorry for sinning and, like, doing all this bad stuff. I think we should get married." And Abram's immediately like, "Hell yeah," and, like, gives her her necklace back and is like, "Great, we'll do it today." Bro. Um, so dad and Jenna are gonna come to the compound, but the dad is like, "Jenna, you need to stay behind because if something happens to me, people need to know what's going on. So you stay here." And then Jenna's like, "The last thing we did was argue, and she has to know that I love her." And he's just like, It's fine." Now we see an Amish wedding. I wrote so they do their like vows in front of the city or the community or whatever. I
They go
wrote
to
the
the
kid.
city just to rub it in their face.
Yeah, right. I wrote Amish wedding, the kiss is insane. After they say their vows to each other and then they do like you can kiss the bride or whatever, he like opens his mouth and like puts his entire mouth like over hers. And it
Mhm.
looked insane.
Hey.
Uh
Alright, let's get back to, the super hot wedding kiss.
the kiss that killed my internet apparently.
I I just said something, I was like, "Oh, like, I get that they're showing that it's, like, showing that she is clearly not into it,"
Yeah, yeah.
but, like, he he, he's like a fucking Pennywise swallows her head.
Like literally it was so disturbing and then I had said it was like worse than him squelching the meat to me. And then okay. So that happened. Okay, so they dance at the wedding. Mona distracts Abram by dancing with him. She asks the guy to play pop music. So they're like dancing. Carly goes to get some water, and while Abram is distracted, she drips Foxglove into his cup. He comes over and she like gives him the water and he downs it. And then she's like, "I didn't know that Amish could dance." And he's like, "Hee hee, yeah." this is one of the things that's nice about our community. And, he is, like, obviously extremely what I had said was, he's, like, extremely happy that this is happening, even though, like, I feel like he should be apprehensive because he, like, stole this person, like, all of a sudden she's just like, "Yeah, Amish life is great, let's get married." Like, I know that he's, like, emotionally unstable and, like, delulu, but this just seems like he has, like, not a care in the world. Um
I mean, it is like an interesting premise. Like, I know there's been movies about like I think there's like a Tim Allen one where he has to like pretend to be Amish because he's like hiding from
Yeah, yeah,
the mob or some shit. But it is an interesting idea of like, well, I'm gonna kidnap you and I'm taking you to like Amish land where like literally no one will be able to get a hold of you.
yeah.
Like, it is an interesting premise.
But luckily, Jenna is a hacker, so she was able to figure it out by using
Jenna
the
did
internet.
a very quick Google search and found him.
Literally. Um, so yeah, so he comes over and he drinks the water, right? She accidentally like spills her water on him and she's like, "Oh, hee, oh my god, it's just like when we met." And so, like, he trusts her at this point, and so he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go back to the house and change." And while he's doing that, she runs. And one of the things I said was like, I understand that this is a plot device getting him to go back into the house, but she barely spilled any water on him. I really doubt that he would have like bothered
I
to
don't
go
know.
and
That
change
shirt
her
was
shirt.
soaking wet.
Was it? It didn't look that to me,
No.
but
So
maybe
when
I
they show it's funny because it's like a cup of water. It's not a lot
yeah.
of water. But then they show it when he gets into the house and the entire front of his shirt is soaking wet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was just like, I just like don't feel like he would go and change his shirt, but whatever.
Yeah, just take it off.
So I mean, it's his wedding, right? Um, so while he's inside changing, she grabs a lantern and runs into the woods. He comes back to the party and confronts Mona and is basically like choking her out in front of everybody. And it's just like, where is she? Mona's like, I don't know. And he's like, you helped her. And Mona's like, no. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she's basically just like, she ran into the woods. And so he goes after her. He gets in his truck and is like driving down the street. And when Carly is like running away,
This made
she
me so
sees
mad.
me too. I said, Carly flags down the truck like a fucking idiot. She's like, please, please stop, help. And Abram gets out of the truck and she is like shook. She cannot believe that it's him. And I was like, girl, what? You're still in the Amish compound. Like,
You've
how far do
walked
you think you
40
ran?
feet.
Literally. It was insane to me. Um,
Look,
so
not to victim blame, but Carly
I
deserved
will
all this.
yes, yeah, I feel like I just don't understand. Um, so Abram comes out, of course, and it's just like, "Hey," and she's like, she tells him everything. Like she knows, that he lied about the mom, that he was shunned from the community, that he made like killed Rachel, whatever. And he's kind of just like, I don't care. And he basically puts her in the truck and but then he gets a really bad tummy ache, and he's like, "Ugh," and she's again, not to victim blame, but when he had crouched down in front of the truck, she immediately should have gotten the passenger in, like, the driver's seat and driven away, but instead, she's just like, she, like, debates what she's gonna do, and it gives him enough time to, like, come and take the keys out and throw them, and I was like, "Girl, are you trying?"
No.
Um And they didn't even say anything like, I would have understand if they were trying to make it seem like she was having complications because she's, like, running, she hasn't had access to her actual medicine, and she's got, like, her heart rhythmia thing, but the heart rhythmia thing literally never comes back. It was literally all a device to have her have access to the Foxglove, which she could have like, Mona could have just given it to her anyways, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it just made no sense that she just, like, doesn't try at all to get away. But, so he throws the keys and he's like, "Now none of us are getting out of here." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then Abram reveals that Carly's dad is just, like, knocked out in the back of the truck. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I caught him poking around here earlier." And I was like, "Bro, thanks for doing absolutely nothing."
Yeah,
Um,
he's like not very helpful. Jenna, would have burned this entire place down.
It literally, yeah. So basically, at this point, Abram is really, really struggling, and he's like, "What did you do to me?" And she's like, "Oh, the foxglove. You won't die, but it's fine." So he like falls over on the ground or whatever, and so then they start. So then she like takes off her necklace and she like throws it at him, and she's like, "I think we should see other people."
Got his
Got him.
ass. Then she runs
Carly
him over.
Literally. Carly unties her dad, and the dad wakes up and it's just like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't believe you're alive." Whatever. The police come and they're like, "Oh, Jenna called the police. Great." And I was like, "Good." Um, but I'm like, I really want to know what she said to the police to make them actually like believe her. She's like, "Oh yeah, my friend was kidnapped by this Amish guy and they're on this compound. Can you go check it out?" I feel like they'd be like, "No. Thank you
Yeah,
though."
for real.
She could have lied and, like, made anything up, though. Um, Abram is arrested, and while he's sitting in the back of the police car, he's just, like, looking out at them, um,
I would
because
absolutely watch a sequel to this where it's just him in jail.
that would be interesting.
But also,
Um,
like, how? I mean, I guess fine. Like the kidnapping charge is gonna like can stand, but it's
sure.
not like anything else is provable.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah. And he technically so I guess he could get if they could prove anything, he's looking at kidnapping, he's looking at assault, 2 charges of assault.
Yeah, I guess of Wyatt,
Yeah, but, like,
dude.
why I guess they could maybe say
If
attempted
if he's
murder, I
not
don't know.
dead,
Right. Um, okay, so he's getting arrested. Um, Mona runs up and is like, "Oh my god, I thought something bad happened to you," and they, like, hold hands or whatever, and Carly's like, "No, I'm fine, like, thank you. Thanks for helping me," or whatever, and she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And Mona's just like, "I don't know. I think I need to leave." And Carly was like, "Well, me and my best friend are renting a house if you wanna come and stay with us," and I was like, "Don't you think you should ask her first?" But Mona's just like, "Okay, sounds great. Take care," and then she just, like, leaves, and I was like,
ag-
"What? Where is she going?"
again, there are so many sequel ideas for this. You could do like single white female with this like Ramona moving in, and she just
Oh
like
my god, yeah.
doesn't like Jenna and
Yeah,
decides to like take over.
yeah. And it would essentially be the same movie because
Yeah,
Jenna would be like, "Mona's crazy and she's single white femaling me," and then Carly would be like, "You're just jealous again."
she'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so Mona said, "Oh, sounds great. Take care," and then just, like, leaves, and I was like, "What?" Jenna comes, she's arrived with the police, and she's like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and they, like, cry hug, and, she basically oh, yeah, Carly is like, "Oh my god, how is Wyatt?" And Jenna was like, "Oh, just like you, surviving a kidnapping and only being worried about everybody else," and I was like, "No, I don't think Carly is worried about anybody else." Like, she didn't display that in this entire movie, but
I
she
think
basically
Carly's
is
mad she's single again.
right. Wyatt is fine. I think he woke up and he's fine, so he's alive. Um, and Carly apologizes and is like, "Oh my god, I should have like listened to you from the beginning." And Jenna's like, "Yeah, you definitely should have." So it's fine though. The dad and they're like, "I love you," and then Carly and Jenna say they love you to each other, and then the dad comes up and hugs both of them and is like, "I love you," and I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then the dad says, "I changed my mind. I don't really like that guy."
Oh shit.
The end.
5 stars.
So
No,
that
it's like
was
it's
Stalked by My
completely
Amish
like
Boyfriend.
totally watchable, especially if you were already down for these kind of movies. If you're like if you cannot get behind a Hallmark or Lifetime movie, you are gonna hate this.
Yeah, but that being said, I do feel like we were saying, the movie starts off at a 10, and I feel like that's the highest it ever gets is that opening scene, because like you're right. I don't know. I just feel like
He should have gone full Joker by like the end, where he like once he catches her at the truck and just is like mocking her and shit. I
yeah,
wish he just went like even farther with
Yeah.
that. We're like in the presence of the community, he's acting like quote unquote normal, and then the rest of the time he's just doing fucking voices at her and shit.
Yeah, I definitely feel like everything could have been just, like, more dramatic. I don't know, like, poisoning him and then making sure that we know she didn't actually kill him. Like, who the fuck cares? Kill him, fucking kill him. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. But, it's fine.
All right. Did you watch anything else this week?
Um, I watched let's see. I did start watching the Ghost Hunters, but from what year was that? Maybe it was, like, 2020, or it was earlier than that. It was, like, the Ghost Hunters once Graham comes back and restarts Ghost Hunters, but he's the only one from the original Ghost Hunters that's still on it. So I started watching that because 'cause they're basically, like, revisiting places that they've gone before, and so that feels nostalgic to me. Then I also started watching The Low Files,
The fuck is that?
which is a show where Rob Lowe and his 2 sons, Matthew and John Owen, um, go and explore the paranormal.
Oh my
So
god.
it's, like, interesting because each episode is something different. So the first one is, like, ghost hunting, the second one is a UFO thing, the third one is, like, Bigfoot. And, like, the only thing that you're really watching the show for is, like, Rob Lowe's sons just, like, constantly making fun of him and giving him shit. They do not find a scrap of evidence of anything at all ever, essentially. And then it's, like, most of the show is them talking, like, reminiscing about, like, "Oh, remember when we used to go camping and we thought we saw Bigfoot tracks," and, like, all of this stuff. And then it's, like, Rob Lowe being like, "I really need a donut right now." And then they, like, pull up to a donut shop in this, like, random town, and people are like, "Oh my god, Rob Lowe," and, like, taking photos with him. So the show itself is, like, very short on any kind of actual investigating, but I knew it existed and I wanted to watch it for forever, so I just started watching it as, like, background noise. Then I finally watched the 2017 Tom Cruise The Mummy.
Oh boy.
I hate to say, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
surprising.
I feel like the ending part of it got extremely convoluted and didn't make a lot of sense, but the beginning of it and, like, I had, like, fun watching it. I thought it was, like, kind of good. Um, but I had never seen it before. And then so we finished The Good Place was our show that we were watching, and then we just finished the first season of The Vampire Diaries, and
uh, how's
it's
that
my
going?
it's my first time watching it, and I actually have to say it's kind of good.
I mean, did it have like 12 seasons or some shit?
I think 8 or 9.
I guess seemed popular.
Yeah, and, like, obviously it is a teen drama and it was, like, a CW show, but there actually has been a lot of stuff on there that I actually am like, "Oh my god, the CW aired this? Like, this is crazy." And, like, obviously the show or, like, the story is basically about, like, the 2 vampire brothers meeting the main character or whatever, um, but I don't know. So far, it's actually kind of good. So we'll see. Like I said, we just finished the first season last night. And I've never seen it. I've never read anything. Like for some reason, like even though I grew up like extremely into vampires, I never watched um Vampire Diaries and I never watched True Blood. And I just like don't know if I'm gonna get into True Blood or whatever. But the thing that's so funny about this to me is that, like, this takes place in, like, quote, unquote, "modern times," and so there's, like the vampire brothers are, like, 145 years old or something like that, or, like, that's how long they've been vampires. So there's a lot of flashbacks to, like, the town that they live in the 1800s, like, when they were humans or whatever, and wouldn't you believe it, just like Jasper in Twilight, one of the brothers is a fucking Confederate soldier.
Yeah, it checks out.
I was like, "Why is this, like, such a thing?" But as I'm watching this because, like, we looked it up and the show came out the first season of the show came out, I think, the year before the first Twilight book, and there's so many similarities between Vampire Diaries and Twilight. So I was like, "I think Stephanie Meyer has some explaining to do."
Yeah. To be fair,
Um
outside of the idea that they're, like, shiny in sunlight, it's not like vampire mythology is that.
No, 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 but I mean, like, there are a lot there are differences between, like, the type of vampires that are in both, but the story is, like there's a lot of, like, similarities in the story,
Is
which, like,
there
I
a CGI baby that gets imprinted on by an adult?
that is to be discovered
Oh,
because
well, yeah, let
I
me know, because then I'll watch it.
I will. But one of the and it also is, like, one of those things that since it came out so long ago, it's, like, fun to see who shows up. One of the guys who plays and I don't remember his name, but he plays their uncle in this. He was the guy who owned from iZombie, the guy who owned he was, like, the zombie who owned, like, the zombie restaurant, that guy.
Hmm. I don't
I'll have to look him up because
I'm sure, like, if I see him, I remember, but I've only seen any of that show, like, the one time I watched through it, so
I know, I really wanna rewatch it, but, is it on only on Netflix?
probably. I feel like it was on Hulu at some point, but
Okay, yeah, I really wanna rewatch that. Um,
it is currently on Apple TV.
ew,
It
I
is,
w
like, nowhere for free currently, it seems, unless you have, like, an
David
Apple subscription.
yeah, no, I do not. David Anders is his name. But anyways, he played that guy, which,
Oh, Blaine, yeah, if you
yeah,
would've
he
said,
played
like
Blaine.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I couldn't remember his the character's name, but he plays Blaine, or yeah, he's in it, so that was, like, exciting. But yeah, no, I hate to say, actually, it's, like, so interesting at this point. Like, obviously, there's parts of it that were just, like, eye roll because it's, like, a teen drama, but
Right.
I don't know, it's getting crazy. Um But other than that, we're still slogging through Bones. It is so bad. We're only on, like, season 9, so
I'm still
it's
baffled that
rough.
that show had more than 9 seasons because I feel like I what what was the last season finale you watched? Do you remember?
So, I the thing that you, like, spoilered for me, I think you misremembered because it hasn't happened yet, and the main villain guy that they had been dealing with for, like, most of the series, Palant, he got killed. Booth killed him, so he is dead. So that was, like, the last season finale, and we're, like, mostly through this next season, and nothing has happened to Sweets.
Well, I know that does happen. Maybe I just
Okay.
misremembered how it
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
there's, like, a very specific thing that happens at the end of whatever season I cut out at, because I think I was, like I'd watched it I'd, like, downloaded all of, like, the seasons up to, like, what was airing, and then, like, watched that, and then just, like, never went back as it was, like, airing live.
Okay, so, he does die, but not till season 10. So we're still, like, a
Oh,
season
man, I made
away.
it farther than I thought I did.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was trying to see. Let me see.
I'm sad. He's, like, one of the only characters I actually like.
I can just show me. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I cut out at the end of season 10 because
Okay.
season 11 starts off like with what I have not seen.
Okay.
So whenever you get
So
through season 10, I will. There's it's like
okay.
the end is real stupid. We could talk about it.
Alright. Well, most of the show has been really stupid,
Okay.
so can't wait.
I think really the only thing I watched was The Veil, which was this 1958 anthology show that one of Vinegar Syndrome's new sublabels put out that like Boris Karloff hosts that like only one episode ever actually aired.
Hmm.
And I know it's fine. It's like there's like 12 episodes I think, and it's like a just less interesting sort of like Twilight Zone style thing. where it's like Twilight Zone-ish stories, but like not
Oh, yeah, you
overly
told me about that.
supernatural. Like
Yeah.
the first episode is essentially like a guy like rear view mirror or not rear view mirror, rear window style like sees a murder happen in like an apartment across from him or whatever. And like when he goes to like try to stop it and has the police shows up, like no one's there, and it like the twist is that he's was able to like see the murder like 3 days before it happened or some shit.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it's fine. It's not like bad per se. It's just not also. It's also like I feel like if you've seen any of like the really good Twilight Zone stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, this does not hold up as well. And
Uh,
then
excuse me?
yeah, we watched Mark Maron's newest stand-up special, Panicked. It was really good. I think that's pretty much it. We're just slugging along through fucking a bad season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh,
True.
sorry, go ahead. That reminded me of something else I watched.
I was just and then like I don't know, like we Kit and I talked about the last episode, or like we're watching the new season of Traders, and I do not like it so far.
Yeah.
Um, but I am excited because they've been having like ads on it about like I think they're doing an entire season of just like regular people, which I am
Mhm.
on board for because it is having the same problem that like a lot of these competition shows do, where like now everyone comes in after a couple seasons like, well, I know how the game's supposed to be played. Or
Right.
like they know the quote unquote celebrities in it, like, everyone in it is like a reality TV person. So they all have these like prejudged notions of the people. So like it's just a fucking nightmare this season. I hate it. But at least Michael Rappaport got kicked off finally because
Hell
he
yeah. I don't even
started
know who
getting
that is, but I know you
he's
didn't like him.
just a fucking dumb asshole comedian that like just immediately not like full like
I know who he is. I know
yeah,
who
he
he
just
is.
like became like a, oh, we can't say anything anymore kind of
Yeah.
fucking dumbass. And like there was like a thing in like his final roundtable where there was like some guy that was on The Bachelor that like came out after The Bachelor as gay. And Michael Rappaport's like, well, I think he's a traitor and blah blah blah. I'm like, if anyone could keep a secret, it's definitely him because he did it for like 20 something years. And everyone was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I, have heard a lot of bad things about him. I
Yeah, he
did
sucks.
I
He's an asshole. He
he's like
ruined the entire thing for me.
yeah, he's like one of those guys that I will never ever remember his name, but as soon as I see his face, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no."
There's there is a very funny video online of him like out in the streets of New York filming himself ranting about something and someone just belts him in the face with a snowball.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
Uh
my only thing I, like, went back so this was, like, years ago because it was back when I had Netflix, he was in that show Atypical that Jack Haven's in, which is, like, what introduced me.
mhm.
And, I really liked the show, and then it came out, like, kind of after that like, I'm sure that he has been canceled for a long time or whatever, but it started to come out more and more about, like, just ho what a piece of shit he was, and I was like, "I don't feel like I can watch this show and enjoy it anymore," because he's, like, one of the main characters, and you're, like, supposed to feel bad for him because his, like, wife cheats on him or something, but I just was like, "Okay, well, not gonna."
Yeah, he's like he was like I hope that going forward with like traders that they just like don't cast somebody like him again because all he did is come in and just fucking like yell over everybody, talk about
Yeah.
how he's the most handsome person there and all
Ew.
the shit. And I was like, God, dude, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And so he finally got kicked off because he said this like vaguely homophobic shit in front of like a table of like with like eight openly gay people at the table. So they all were like, fuck this, including like Alan Cumming, the host of the show.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, but,
Like the guy from The Bachelor, whose name is escaping me, fucking Johnny Weir is on it. Um, some other Olympic, or no, like I think like the newer or a host of Top Chef, maybe.
hmm.
who I think is like openly I don't know, it was like a bunch of people and they were just like, "Yeah, goodbye." Even like a bunch of them were like, "I don't even care if you are a traitor. You have to go."
Yeah.
What was the thing you said after I said something about Real Housewives that you said you watched?
Um, thanks. Chris just brought me a cookie. I
Rude.
watched I'll send it have Craig send one over for you.
Hell yeah.
It is a oatmeal cookie that has
Oh, never
maple
mind.
chips in it.
Pass.
You don't like oatmeal cookies?
No.
What's your problem?
Get that garbage out of here.
Oatmeal chocolate chip. I watched that documentary, The Cult of the Real
Oh,
Housewives,
it
which was
sucks.
about the Salt Lake City
Mary
Mary
Cosby.
Cosby. Yeah. I had obviously no idea who she was. I don't know Real Housewives really except
Mhm.
for Bethany Frankel. Like I know who she is, but that's it. So weird. I don't know.
Like we were watching it and I was like, "You know what? I absolutely believe all of this shit." But the way the documentary is put out, like produced and shit, I was like, "I don't know. I also believe I could see this all being completely fake." But like there's been enough shit on the show about her church that I'm like, "Yeah, 100%. I believe that she makes all these people refer to her as like essentially God and give her thousands of dollars and shit."
Yeah. Then like there was that one part it was kind of all over the place and then it was basically just like people that don't like her being like, how does she make all her money? And I'm like, I mean, true. But there was like and then like obviously the scandal with her marrying her step grandfather.
That so when
That's fucking
when
weird.
Caitlyn was like, "You should watch this show," and I was like, I don't know." And then like that was what they led with. I was like, "I'm in. Let's go."
Really fucking weird. Um
It's insane. Like, well, my grandma said I need to marry him to like when she dies to take care of him, so I did. And I'm like, "Excuse me."
yeah, what? Um what a weird I don't know.
Salt
We
Lake
don't need
City is the only well, it's this season I don't like because it's like starting to do the same shit that a lot of the other ones do, where it's just the same arguments over and
right.
over and over again. But like the previous seasons of Salt Lake City are insane because it's like one of them I've talked about on here where like Jen Shaw gets arrested by the FBI in the middle of the season filming, and so they get
Oh
it
yeah.
like all on camera and shit, and like it just deals with her going to fucking jail for fraud and all this shit. Like there's like wild shit happens on that show that like one of them gets like revealed at like the season finale of one of the seasons that like they're running a fucking troll housewives account to like troll their castmates and shit and gets kicked like it's wild. That show
I
is
love that.
insane. But like the new season, I've just been like, it's just been like these same two or three people just arguing about the same shit endlessly. And I'm just like, you have to fucking move on or
Do something
recast
else.
or
Yeah.
something. Cause that's what like the New Jersey one, we watched like 14 seasons of. And for like the
Holy
last like
shit.
5 seasons, we were just kind of like, I hate this. Like
Yeah.
it's just like Teresa and her brother and sister-in-law just yelling at each other endlessly. And I was just like, I can't watch any more of this. And I think even like Bravo was just like, yeah, we have to either end this or like recast or something because this is just not working anymore.
Yeah. I feel like the thing that's like sus to me about like how because they showed in the documentary they showed it's like mostly interviews with like people
Yeah.
who knew Mary in real life or whatever. And they do show part of like the show where Andy Cohen
Yeah.
does I like barely know who he is. Um he does like the reunion where people were like asking questions and a lot of them were like asking Mary about the church and like what's going on and stuff. And the way that she just like lies about everything though, I'm like there was that audio of her like berating the parishioners for like not giving her enough money
Yeah.
for her birthday or whatever and like calling them poor and calling them this that and the other, and she goes that was taken out of context. And I was like, how? What was the context? In what reality are you saying that to people? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like that, like the documentary. it does come across as like a shitty sort of like TMZ straight to Tubi
Yeah, and I
like
think
thing, but I also absolutely, having watched the show,
yeah,
believe like I would say 98% of it at least.
yeah. Um, yeah, I think that, like, my issue with it was, like, obviously, I didn't know any of the information, so all of it is entry level info to me, but it was very clear to me what side the documentarians were on,
Yeah.
which I don't like in documentaries. Like, I don't watch a documentary. Like, if I'm watching a documentary, I want the facts. Like, I don't want, because there's, like, not a single person interviewed on that show that likes her or anything like that. And I'm not saying she is likable, or I'm not saying that there's room to be like, "Oh, no, this is just slander," but, like, I just don't like when I'm watching something and it's very clearly, like,
Well,
an opinion.
like Caitlin and I talked about it. I think honestly we talk about it almost any of the newer housewife stuff we watch because I get so mad because it's like it happens with 90 Day Fiance a little bit too, where like there are just these fucking garbage people on the shows. And but when you go online, every one of these reality TV blogs, the online fanatics or whatever, like love them.
Yeah.
Like Teresa Giudice from the New Jersey one is the worst person on TV, but like everyone fucking loves her online because like she's just drama. But I'm like, she is a bad person. She sucks. She's annoying. Don't want to see her. It's the same. Like there's a woman on 90 Day Fiance named Angela who was just this old racist white woman who was essentially trying to just like get her like black sex slave from like Nigeria.
No.
And they spend like 8 seasons following them to where he finally makes it to America. And like the last season they're on, he has to, in the middle of the night, like flee her house and like just like get away
Oh
and
my
then like
god.
sues her and shit. And it's like, but everyone online is like, go off, queen. We love you. And I'm
Ugh.
like, why? She's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a line between, like you're saying, this is the worst person I've ever I know, and it makes good TV because of, like, the shock value. Because 'cause you're like, "I cannot believe that somebody is genuinely like this." There's a line between that and then actually, like, supporting them and liking them,
Yeah.
which is, like, again, a lot of what they showed on that documentary about Mary Cosby, where people in the comments would be like, "Oh," like, supporting her and, like, all of this stuff, and I'm just like, "What?"
It's like her scenario is like, I absolutely get that like weirdo religious people would back her. But it's
Sure.
like when it's just like weird just reality TV fans, I'm like, she's like the only reason she makes good TV is because she says like out of pocket shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like I've never liked her on the show. And Caitlyn will be like 50-50. Some seasons she's like funny on the show, sometimes she's not, where Caitlyn will just be like, well, she said this like wild thing. And I like and like this season, because that documentary came out, they clearly were like using her as like to be like the voice of reason on the show where she's like trying to like settle beefs with people and shit. But
Yeah.
like there's in the first season, she tells like I think Jen Shaw that she can't be around her because she smells like hospital.
Oh
And she
my
was like, my dad is dying in the hospital right now. And I was like, okay, that's wild. But like everything else, I'm like, you just seem like a shitty person
yeah.
that like
Mhm.
I absolutely believe is like, oh, you didn't bring me $10,000 for my birthday. You obviously hate God and cannot be a part of this church anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Saying that the documentary is boring. Just read about it online.
Yeah, it's another one of those things where, like, I don't really understand why it was, like, 3 episodes or whatever,
Well,
but
it's because if you go through like the documentaries on Tubi, like there's so many that are just pumped. Like there were like 10 like Diddy documentaries
oh, yeah.
within like a
Yeah.
week of him being arrested. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you don't have any information in this. It's just going to be whatever was on the news. but you
Right.
got to pump it out because it's going to get those views. And it drives
Yeah.
me crazy because I'll always look through where I'm like, I want to watch like a good documentary, but it's just that shit where
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing in this is going to even be like worth my time.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, because I didn't know anything about it, I felt like
Yeah.
there was info, but it's, like, weirdly not made for the people who already care about the situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Or, like, know what's going on.
there was another one that was like a just like a very quick sort of like TV documentary. I think it was like 52 minutes about Jen Shaw's like fraud case and her going to prison and shit that Caitlin and I watched. It was the same thing where I was like, well, none of this was like information I don't already have from just like seeing the show. This was like pointless.
Yeah.
um, all right, we will shout out.
Mm, not being sick.
Hell yeah.
The only thing I did was, they just released a surprise last time update for Animal Crossing New
This
Horizons for the
is,
Switch.
oh wait, no, never mind. That was Stardew Valley. I was gonna say is Trump in it.
Oh my god, I don't even wanna talk about that. So I've been doing, like, a little Animal Crossing again for the first time, and it feels, like, so nostalgic because, often people who play Animal Crossing harken back to, like, the first, like, COVID lockdown because that's what literally everybody was doing all the time, and it was so much fun, even though the situation was, like, very shitty. So that and then just, like, I've been listening to, like, old albums that I used to love and, like, getting into that kind of stuff, so, you know.
um, my shout out. This is my last episode. I'm going Amish. So,
Alright. See ya.
anti shout out. Thursday tickets being 70 fucking dollars.
Uh, I actually am a little surprised that they're not more.
I'm no, like the thing that is baffling to me is like they very specifically, especially since like 2020, have been really like good about like they were doing shit where they were doing merch drops where they were like, we set aside like 50 of everything if you currently don't have a job or you're low income, can't afford it because like your job is like on hold because of COVID, whatever, free. Like the first 50 people that need it for free, you get it for free. They were like
Oh,
specifically being like tickets, $20. What, fucking super cheap. So like I was like, okay, like this probably be like maybe $35 at most. $70 is outrageous. And I like
yeah.
Caitlin and I were talking about it where like both of us were like, I refuse to spend that kind of money for a band I saw for like $10
No, I know,
before.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I remember, when
I spent
we
less money to see the fucking Cure at Madison Square Garden than those tickets cost.
yeah, right? I remember, because we have gone to shows for Chris's birthday the last 2 years, but it was, like, special because it was his birthday, like, we saw,
Mhm.
Cursive last year, but, we don't go to shows as often anymore, and I was, like, talking about whenever we saw, Boy Sets Fire, the tickets were $15, I remember at the time being like, "Oh my god, this is so expensive,
It's
dollars a
one of those
ticket."
things, like, I will spend that money for, like, a good show that I really wanna go to, but
Yeah,
it's not something where it's, like, just essentially Thursday playing, like, 2 sets, you know? Like, I'm not that's just insane to me, and, like,
yeah,
I could go to 3 shows of, like, 5 bands each for the amount of money I would be spending on those tickets.
right.
Saying that, I still love Thursday. I
Definitely.
get it, like, it is hard for, like, bands right now to be making their money and all that shit, but it's just like that's just a line I'm not willing to
Yeah.
cross. I've always said like I remember when like My Chemical Romance reunited and everyone was like, I'm going. I just spent $500 on these tickets. And I was like, I saw My Chemical Romance open for Reggie and the Full Effect for $12 on their first album. I cannot justify spending over $30 to ever see them.
No, and, like, you know what, if that's what you wanna spend your money on and you're willing and able, go good for you, queen. I could not, could never. I have, like, I have yeah, that not the that and then also, like, Nine Inch Nails tickets people were buying for, like, $100+ and I could literally never like, no offense, I don't think there's any band ever that I would pay, like, $100+ to see. Like, the experience is maybe that's my thing, my problem, though, like, the experience to me is just not worth it, but
At this point, I feel like I would spend that for, like, The Cure. But I like Robert Smith, especially in the last, like, decade, has been very much like, "I hate scalpers, I hate the entire ticket industry, like, I'm
yeah,
not making people spend that kind of money." And I've always said that, like, the last, like, real big, sort of, like, legendary artist that I wanna see that I've never seen is Bjork. And, like, I could see myself spending that, especially because Bjork tends to play, like, really, like, elaborate theaters, or, like, I've seen, like,
sure.
footage of her playing in, like, these old, like, Norwegian churches and shit like that. Like, I could justify $100 to go see her, but probably not much else. It would
Yeah.
have to be, like, a fest, or a, like,
Yeah,
one of my favorite bands being like, "This is our last show ever," sort of thing.
yeah.
Um, alright. I don't know what we're doing next week. We will figure that out. If I don't know, because I think we're doing the bonus episode, so maybe me and you will record something again next week, and then we'll get to Graveyard Sharks whenever Kit is back. We'll see. We're not totally sure yet because it's a good
Nobody knows.
possibility Kit is going to be living in Ice Mad Max in Texas this week. We have
You know
no
what?
idea whether Kit is going to have electricity for
Not
the
to
next
not
week.
not to victim blame, but if you're living in Texas, you know?
Yeah. So hell, I don't even know if I'm gonna have fucking electricity, 'cause we're supposed to, like, literally every weather thing is like, I don't know, maybe you'll get half an inch. You might get 2 feet of snow. We don't know. I'm like,
They're
perfect.
literally like, "This could be the worst thing that ever happened, or it'll be fine." I'm like, "Great.
Yeah.
Well, let me
So
know, I guess." Like,
I
we're
don't know.
obviously not getting
It's
anything, but it's gonna be cold, but it's not like
it's
we get
real it's real up in the air on what our next thing will be. So
yeah.
just you'll find out when it drops.
Yep.
Um If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. Whenever Kit is available, we will be doing our bonus episode. We're going to do a best of 2025 episode. So you can find out what movies, music, probably books we all liked. And then in February, fingers crossed, will be a first episode of our upcoming book club thing.
Yeah.
You can buy some merch at our Redbubble shop. You can leave us a rating and review, probably whatever thing you're listening to this on. You can,
Your Amish flip phone.
yeah, you can listen to this on Amish podcasting app. It's just uh
Radio somehow.
a leaf with a stick. You can follow us on Instagram at IHopeYouSuffer Podcast. You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitchification of Blood. You can follow Katie at Werewolf Face and join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to other podcasts at AK Movie Club. All right. I hope you don't get stalked by your Amish boyfriend.
I
I
hope
hope
you
you get
get
stalked by
stalked.
your Amish husband.
Oh.
I hope you buy me some Twilight Crocs, but why?